Living Well Women, holistic living for sisters over 40. Happiness is holistic. It's multifaceted. It's physical. It's internal. It's my diet and my emotional state. It's all tied in together. Michelle Obama. This is a show for sisters, about sisters, by me and my sisters, Dr. Dravon James and Keisha Dixon. I am Lynnis Woods Mullins, and we are Women Living Well.
Okay, Lynnis. Welcome everyone to today's episode of Living Well Women. We are excited to have you here. I am joined by the producer of this show, Lynnis Woods Mullins. Lynnis Woods Mullins is a holistic living and wellness coach, producer of Living Well Women, and producer of the Wellness Journey podcast series. And she is co-author of The Power of Superwoman. And that book is going to be released in January. And I'm also glad to have with us Dr. Dravon James of Everyday Peace. Dr. Dravon is a keynote speaker, author of Freedom is Your Birthright, and radio show host of Everyday Peace on Unity Live Network.
Unity Online Radio, yep.
Unity Online Radio. Everyday Peace with Dr. Dravon James, and I'm Keisha Dixon, creator of the Monetize Your Mind Success System and author of Visibility Vixen for Sisters and White Girls Too. And we're so excited that we have a sponsor today, and this show, which is Alone for the Holidays and Other Disappointing Tales, is being sponsored by SuddenlyFree.life. SuddenlyFree.life is a coaching program that specializes in international retreats, and we are so honored that they have decided to sponsor us today. So our show is about, are you alone for the holidays and other disappointing tales?
Yeah, it's a great topic. You know, I work with a lot of women over 40, and I find that I kind of have two camps. Those women who are single and have been single for a long time, either through divorce or maybe through losing a loved one. And then those who have families and are working hard in some cases and putting together a great holiday season. And I kind of find whether you are married or by yourself, either way it goes, I think you can experience feeling loneliness, even though you may be in a room full of people. I know that's been my experience, that on the holidays, everybody has certain expectations. And sometimes when those expectations don't get met, you feel a sense of sadness. I think that's very common, but we really don't talk about it as much as, you know, the moms of the family, in this days, in many cases, if you're over 40, the matriarchs of the family in some cases, there's no time for that. We're supposed to be the one that's cheering everybody up and giving and all of that. And I think sometimes there comes a sense, I know for me anyway, almost like a sense of isolation, because it's almost kind of like, well, what about me? There's that kind of loneliness too, I find, during the holidays.
Yeah, absolutely. And not just feelings of sadness and these feelings of what about me, but also the guilt and shame that comes with that, right? Like am I the only one here? Everybody else is watching Hallmark Channel and in great relationships, and everyone's family is absolutely perfect, but I feel shameful because that's not me. It's embarrassing. I can't even talk about it.
Yes. And one other thing I was going to say too, while social media is wonderful and it's a great way to communicate with friends and family and your Facebook family, sometimes just looking at all the pictures and everything everybody seems to be, and I'm saying seems to be doing, can also kind of make you feel isolated and alone if you're not maybe having a social holiday season or whatever. Sometimes those things, social media can sometimes set you up to feeling isolated and alone as well.
I know loneliness is a big factor for a lot of people during the holiday season. As you mentioned, people who have lost loved ones, and people who have had a goal at the beginning of the year to be in a relationship or to be connected, and find that a whole year's gone by and they haven't met that goal. But I think that's why community can be so important. Whether it's an online community like this or some other organizations that you get involved with, can be so important during these holiday times, that you have sort of that kind of community that you create yourself, not always just romantic community.
Do you all think that there's something different about being a woman of color during the holidays? I'm just wondering.
About being a woman of color during the holidays, I don't know because I haven't not been a woman of color.
Right? They always say the grass is always greener on the other side, but I can just tell you this. I won't say it's specific to being a woman of color during the holidays, but I sort of feel like maybe it's different just being a woman of color, period, because
True.
people don't necessarily see us as being the softer side of life. And desire, and giving us the same. That's how it appears sometimes, is that we're viewed as, I use this term, and I do not like when I use it, but I think that we're viewed mostly as workhorses.
Or being strong and fiercely independent, which I do believe. Yeah, it's a great question, Lynnis, because if we're putting on this persona of being strong and fiercely independent, that leaves very little room, if any, for vulnerability or for expressing with others. Yeah, I'm feeling this way.
Yeah, and I don't know the numbers, but I do know a large percentage of women of color, especially African American women, are head of household, and it's the holidays, and they may be getting child support, they may be getting help, but sometimes they're not. But bottom line, because usually they're the ones that have custody of the children, full time, or at least 50% of the time, they're the ones putting together the holiday season, in many cases by themselves. Now, I'm not dissing those men out there who are helping, but I'm just saying that African American women is a high percentage of us who are head of household. And that brings with it an inherent sense of responsibility and expectation to, give a great holiday. But then sometimes, like I mentioned before, some people say, okay, that's great, but well, what about me?
Right, I think that's a big, and that's a big question, and a relevant question when you spend a lot of your day giving. I think that's a big part of loneliness, is that you realize that it's nice to get the love from your children. That is nice, right? But you'd like someone on your level to appreciate you and to want to do for you. But we are seen as fiercely independent, and sometimes I know that can be make people feel kind of standoffish towards us because we just have a take charge
right
demeanor about ourselves.
Yeah, right. And what's typical when you're over giving or you give all the time is that muscle is really, really strong, right? The giving muscle is strong, but the weak muscle is receiving, and it makes it more difficult to receive those things that you need. Hi, Abani. Happy holidays to you. It makes it more difficult to receive, and particularly in a holiday season where you're already, if you're head of household, you're already working hard. You're already taking care of your household. Now there are the additional pressures of having to give even more than maybe you even have, right? To satisfy everyone else. And who's giving back to you? That's a vicious cycle.
Yeah. And something else too that I think is true, and I know this might be true for my children. I just see here that Favor, she's 33. And she says she's very lonely. And I think sometimes society has a tendency to think that if you're in your 20s and your 30s, and it's the holidays, you're probably partying, having a good time, you're not lonely. It seems like there's this big gap, when you're 20s and 30s, a lot of fun. And then all of a sudden, 50, 60, no fun, sad, all that kind of stuff. When in reality, I think it doesn't necessarily know an age. It all depends on what your circumstances are. My children are in their 30s and they've got their kids, they have each other. But some of them are just coming out of a relationship or stuff is going on or whatever. It always seems to come right around this time, maybe because of the stress or whatever. So they're feeling kind of weird because the holidays are supposed to be love together. And, if you do have a significant other. But many times, if you do have a significant other during the holidays, sometimes that's when stuff starts popping off. I wonder why that is.
Yeah. But people are under a lot of stress too. And I think, performance anxiety as it relates to making it appear to be the perfect holiday. But I just want to speak to one thing that you said, Keisha, about not exercising that receiving muscle.
Yeah.
The more that we give, and it sounds nice to say I'm a sacrificial giver, but when you become a sacrificial giver, which means you're giving more than what you're taking in, you start to create that type of energy around you, and you're just seen as the giver. You have to have balance. You have to be the giver and the receiver. So start giving to yourself so that you attract that energy around you, and so people will come and want to give you love and want to give you their time. Because I think loneliness a lot is that we don't feel seen and appreciated.
And we don't feel like we have the right to be here or the right to have that love and appreciation or the right to be seen and appreciated. And when you talk about sacrificial giver, another word for that is martyr. And it's a syndrome. It really is a syndrome. And the only person who suffers in that is you.
Right.
So given that, we recognize the fact that this is an issue, what kinds of things can we do to move us out of that can help us deal with the loneliness, can help us deal with not feeling appreciated, can help us maybe even deal with the whole need to please disease, which I used to suffer from, which I no longer suffer from. Welcome Tanya Lynette. You have not missed too much, but you can always come back and listen to the replay. I was just looking at the comments. You can always come back. So welcome. In fact, welcome to all of our listeners, those who are live and those who are on the replay. We're so glad you're here. So what can we do? What should we share with our listeners today to kind of help them through this?
There's so many things.
I want to say first. Always, in my opinion, turn inward first. The quickest way to turn inward is words of affirmation, validating yourself and your self-worth. Do it even though it feels awkward, even though it feels weird. I was in a radio interview 2 days ago, and the people were like laughing. They were like, "Dravon, do you want us to talk to ourselves?" And I'm like, "Yes, I want you. You're already talking to yourself all day long. You're either a lie about yourself or you're reinforcing the truth about yourself." So the first way to get past this is to start affirming yourself on a regular basis. Have those nice, sweet conversations, affirming. Keisha taught me this. Celebrate yourself, and I didn't do it this week. Celebrate yourself for every little thing. I just remembered. Yes.
That's right. Celebrate yourself. Also take, as Lynnis and Dravon were saying, take time for yourself. Now, we may not all have the luxury to be able to take a week off at the meditation retreat. We may only be able to extend another 5 minutes alone in the bathroom. If that's what you can do, then do that.
Yep.
Then absolutely do that. Honor yourself. And we talked about overgivers and martyrs or people pleasers. If you find yourself in this people-pleasing mode, chances are, like me, I was one of the biggest people pleasers. That's a part of yourself that you really dislike and can't seem to stop. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself and take the lesson that is in every single people pleaser. The divine gift in being a people pleaser is you have a heart of compassion. You get to keep that heart of compassion and still set up healthy boundaries. You can still strengthen your core and say no without giving justification. You can still keep your compassionate heart, but most of that compassion, or at least part of that compassion, should go to yourself by one, forgiving yourself for all those past times that you were in people pleaser mode and you hurt yourself because of it. And two, having such compassion and love for yourself that you no longer hurt yourself by going into people pleasing mode.
I think something else, and you kind of hit on it a little bit when it comes to taking some time for yourself and entering into the self-care mode. If you can begin to start an activity, if you haven't already done this, or if you've already done it, enhance it, is to begin to put together your secret spot or your special place within your home. That's for you. That you know, whenever you sit in that chair, you know, that would bring you comfort because you've prayed in that chair before, you've read favorite books in that chair, you listened to favorite music in that chair, maybe you watched Netflix on your phone or iPad in that chair, but a spot that's just for you. That's that special place where you get a chance to show yourself appreciation and do the things that if your loved ones knew how to do it, they probably would. Many times what happens a lot during the holidays and why we begin to feel a sense of loneliness or maybe even not being appreciated is that we might get things, gifts or nice things done for us, but it doesn't quite hit the spot because they're not us. They don't really know, you know, what we might want. So instead of waiting for someone to give to us, we need to start giving to ourselves, especially during the holidays. I just got through spending some great time with my best friend of 50 years. We went out to breakfast. Breakfast became lunch. Then we did our favorite thrift store shopping, and we just, walked up and down the aisles, bought things for ourselves, just little items, not big deal items, but things for ourselves. And it gave us a great memory to be able to refer back to. When I got back to my home, then all of a sudden, I was feeling so much better about giving more. I decorated the tree, did some other stuff that I needed to get done. And I no longer felt like, I don't feel like doing this. All of that had stopped because I took some time to do something for myself. And also while I was there, I went ahead and bought something for my secret spot or my office prayer room or whatever to put in there to remember that time I spent with her. So if I want to go back to that, I can go back to my special room and look at that and say, wow, I remember that time, I remember that day when I wasn't feeling alone, when I was sharing that space with someone who understood me and loved me for me. So you might want to try that as well.
I love that. And I love that you shared, because Lynnis, you're the most high energy person I know. I love that you shared that, it wasn't all all day long.
This morning I was not, as you know, I was not that way at all this morning. And it was so interesting because I do believe that God knows when you need certain things. And I had texted a girlfriend of mine and she got back to me right as Dravon called me this morning, just happened to call this morning, didn't even know. It's interesting how that happens. And when those kinds of things happen, it's not really serendipity. I don't believe that. I believe that, God knows, universe, whatever, knows what you need. But then when it happens, you have to allow yourself to be open to it. Be honest. That person is reaching out to you, something that comes out of the blue. There's a reason for that. So accept that, or as Keisha would say, receive that, because that's a gift. That's a gift from the universe. It's trying to save you from yourself and, and minister to you in a way that you can pull yourself out of that feelingness of loneliness. Because sometimes what happens with loneliness is just like anything else that is a negative feeling. It could become a slippery slope. And next thing you know, you dig yourself further and further into that feeling. But when someone sends you a lifeline like that, grab a hold of it and they'll help pull you out of it so that you can enjoy the holiday season on your terms.
Yeah, and one of the ways that happens is by honoring where you're at, right? You honor how you're feeling rather than gaslighting yourself and saying, no, I'm okay. No, or everyone else, I'm okay. And you're not, right?
Right.
Yeah, you have to be honest with yourself where you are right now. Don't lie to yourself. That is so true, Keisha. Do not lie to yourself. And then accept yourself right there. Accept yourself. Honor yourself for being able to be honest about it.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's so hard to do that. I want to also say be open to trying new things. A lot of times we're lonely because we're not as open as we should be. Be open to trying new things. And here's a new thing we need to be open to. I think Lynnis said earlier, or Keisha did, the word no. Sometimes you need to pretend like you're a 2-year-old for a few minutes. No, right? So be open to saying no to things that do not bring you joy and overcommitting to activities that just plain out make you miserable.
Absolutely. And who mentioned, your relationship goals? Maybe you set a relationship goal in the beginning of the year and now it's the end of the year and you're not there.
Right. Yeah.
Let's talk about that. If you had a relationship goal to be with a brother and your world is looking like there are no brothers available, open yourself up to some other kind of brother.
No judgment. But no, I missed it. Open yourself up to
other cultures and other ethnicities.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I find it very
ladies. I'm sorry. I love my brothers, but you must do this, ladies. If at least try the experience, and instead of cutting yourself off to new experiences. And there's something else I was thinking about in terms of fighting the lonelies. Work on creating new experiences. I mean, there's one right there. Dating somebody that you normally would not date, maybe because you just don't do that or you just haven't done that. But opening yourself up to new experiences and new traditions.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, as we grow, especially for the women over 40 whose kids are, you know, leaving, empty nesters, maybe they're not coming home for the holidays, or they have their own families, they're all over the globe or whatever, and then there you are. That's okay. Create a new tradition. I know my husband and I have created a new tradition because it's so crazy on Christmas Day, because normally we have like 4 different houses to visit, you know, with the grandkids in different houses with their moms and dads. What we do now is have everybody come over on Christmas Eve. And then Christmas Day, for the most part, is ours. And then we don't have to hop around, you know, and be exhausted by the end of the day. And everybody comes to us on Christmas Eve, go to grandma and grandpa's, get their gifts, eat, play games, whatever. They're gone by 8. But we had to work on that. We had to figure that out, because Christmas was very stressful at first, because we were a blended family. We had, you know, the steps and, you know, the exes and the new family, you know, all of that, in-laws, all that kind of stuff. And so we were like, whoa, as you would say, stop.
Yeah.
Let's take our power back and create something that works for us.
I'm creating a new tradition this year. And as you know, I moved to Florida. And so I'm going to be spending Christmas week with my dad. So my girls and I, we booked a hotel room, and they're only 4 hours away. So there's a new tradition. Rather than me stressing myself by driving 4 hours one way and 4 hours another way for 4 hours of family fun, I booked a hotel room and we're staying for a while. And I'm going to drop the girls off at grandpa's, and I'm going back to the hotel, because I am not lonely.
Tired.
The much needed me time.
Yeah, that's true. You know, it's interesting. The lonely thing, you can look at it also as an opportunity. How much do you really get to spend quality time alone? And by quality time, I mean you have something planned you're going to do with yourself. You're going to read that book. You're going to take that long back. You have all these, if you think about it, there's a lot of things that you may not do normally alone by yourself, because you're too busy thinking about being alone by yourself, what to do. Instead, plan your lonely time and book a date with yourself. That might sound crazy, but do it. Do it and learn to really enjoy your own company. I know I do. Now, I raised 4 kids. You raised 6. You have how many? 2 children?
2.
Right. And so you begin to value that alone time when you have a lot of kids like that. So I'm never lonely. Today I had the house to myself. When I got back after my girlfriend did, I was like, yes.
No one, but I also want to say, just because you are alone, I don't want us to confuse being alone with being lonely.
That's right.
Because just because you are alone does not mean that you are lonely.
And
No,
just
not at all.
because you're with others
You are
does not mean that you're not lonely, right?
Who you love and who love you does not mean that you're not lonely.
That's right. You can be in a room full of people. I have felt that before. Be in a room full of people and feel kind of isolated. And
That
I
was
don't
my
know.
first marriage.
Right. Yeah. And sometimes I don't really know where that comes from. Sometimes it could be, even though you, for instance, love your family and love being with them. Sometimes, other than the fact that you have the same blood, you may not have that much in common. You know, and that does happen. And if that begins to make you feel isolated, there is something that you can do very easily. You go, you give your respects, you spend that time, and then you leave and go and do something for you that you want to do. That really is okay. You don't have to sit there and suffer in silence and be feeling lonely with a room full of people, which is another horrible feeling, because you begin to wonder, what's wrong with me? Why am I feeling like this? Well, maybe because you need to kind of flip the script and do something different.
Yeah. And I want to say this too, but some people suffer from like the blues and the blahs around the holiday season for a number of reasons. You know, it could be loss of a loved one, could be loss of a job, or, you know, what have you. And it could be, you know, seasonal affective disorder. You're not getting enough sunlight and all those things. If you really, really, really feel like you are just not functioning well, please, you owe it to yourself to love on yourself enough to seek some type of safe place to talk it out.
Yes,
Whether it be clergy, whether it be clinical help, or whether it's a close friend or family member. You don't want to suffer in severe loneliness for long periods of time, for no period of time. You deserve to have a full life, as do all of us. We all can have our ups and downs. That's part of the journey. But if you feel like you've been in the down part way too long and it's starting to affect your quality of life, you really have to seek out some safe place to express that and get that out.
Absolutely. I think we all can advocate the benefits of counseling and going to a counselor. It's just like going to your doctor or your dentist, your trainer. You go to your psychiatrist, but mostly a psychologist or psychotherapist, because you just need to get it out. Your emotional closet gets very, very full.
Yeah, I heard this guy say the other day, he said, therapy and prayer, you're supposed to use them together.
That's right. I believe I definitely believe in that. There's a lot of different tools that you can use to help manage those emotions. There's, of course, tapping with Keisha. Tapping is wonderful. There's meditation. That's also great. Also movement of some kind. I know some people feel like, they're embarrassed to maybe go out dancing by themselves, but I've noticed that there's been a big change from when I grew up in the 70s. People don't necessarily have to wait for a man to go and ask them to dance. You go out and dance on your own in the first dance, like no one's watching.
Yeah, that's right. Like no one's watching. That's right. And gratitude, let's not forget gratitude.
Yes.
What 2 ways I know that really help to pick you up really, really quickly is listing 10 things that you're grateful for and getting actively grateful for them, where you start getting happy when you just think about the fact that, oh my gosh, and it could be small stuff. And then volunteering. I know it sounds like it would not be the best thing to do during the holiday season, but it's the gift that keeps giving. You get to meet other people who are volunteering. How about that for people who have similar interests? And you get this overwhelming sense of belonging when you volunteer, which really helps you to get rid of that sense of loneliness, if not, maybe just temporarily, but you need that temporary relief. So
yes.
Finding a place to volunteer is an awesome way to cure the loneliness.
Yeah, I have a friend from years ago. He had lost his wife, and he started volunteering on Christmas Day. And he said that he felt such joy. And 20 years later, he's still doing that. That's what he does on his Christmas Day, is that he serves the homeless. I was reading some of the comments, and someone was saying, Tanya Lynette was saying that her emotional closets have always been full. And Tawanda was saying that she rarely has any quality time. And Ebony's saying that there's truly a scientific fact that when you repress your thoughts and feelings, it causes physical problems. And that's all true. I wanted to say something to Tawanda about very rarely having quality time. It's, quality time does not schedule itself on your calendar. You just have to. I'm sorry. There's no app for that. You just have to decide you're going to do that. Do you decide to show up in your own life and decide, what, I'm the most important thing, because I can't keep giving of myself if I don't give back to me. So Tawanda, do what you need to do and schedule that quality time and be faithful and religious about it whenever it is, whether it's once a month or once a week or even once a day, whatever it is, decide this is it. If you can, go out and get your hair done, get your nails done, or, whatever other things you're doing, maybe you change that around and add some extra hours to that so you can spend some quality time doing whatever it is that you want to do. Now, maybe getting hair and nails done is your quality time, but whatever it is, make sure that you schedule that. That's very important, because unfortunately, no one can do that for you. You've got to make that commitment.
Yeah, and it's true. And for someone like Tawanda, who is a mom and she's also a business owner,
Yes.
and she's in a business that this time of year is very, very busy. Tawanda, it doesn't have to be, a whole hour, a whole day of quality time. It could even be 20 minutes of meditation or 20 minutes of walking around the block or 20 minutes of journaling. Just, you can start out small, but do, like Lynnis said, do schedule it in. You deserve that.
Yes.
Schedule it in like it's an appointment for one of your children to see a doctor. That you know that nothing, under no circumstances, are you not going to get that appointment. And I had to do that. I'm saying from experience, because I was always the kind of person who would push my quality time back. I have it in my books to do, but then something else would come up and I say, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it in 5 minutes. Okay, I'll do it in an hour. Before you know it, the day had gone by, I hadn't done it. The week would go by, I hadn't done it. The month would go by, I hadn't done it. My goodness, I think there were some years that went by and I really hadn't done quality time for me. You know,
You shared with us. I'm sorry, Dravon, go ahead.
it does have an effect on your health, on your outlook on life. So you've got to make that a priority because you cannot give from an empty vessel. You've got to fill yourself up, just like you gas up your automobile. You got to gas yourself up with all this good stuff, and then it pours over and spills on the rest of the world. And the people around you are just like, oh my gosh, they can't believe how awesome you are because you are spending that quality time with you first.
And a few weeks ago, Dravon, you shared with us that we teach others how to love us. So
Absolutely.
if we are putting ourselves constantly last, we are teaching others that the way we like to be loved is by being put last. And that's the recipe for lonely.
Yes. And something else too. You know how maybe your loved one, let's say you do have a significant other and they're asking you, well, what can I do? You know, what can I do to help you, whatever. Don't say, oh, hey, that's okay, I've got, no. Think of something for them to do that would really mean something for you, something to you, because many times our loved ones do want to help. They do want to do something, but they don't know what it is. So tell them what it is. That's okay. There's nothing conceited about it. In fact, there's something really empowering about it. And then they feel like, okay, great. I know what I want to do, because our loved ones do want to please us as well. But sometimes we're just so busy doing. We got it all together. We don't need you, blah, 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 that, you know, we don't stop and tell them, you know what, this is what I need. My daughters get on my case about that all the time. You know,
Yeah.
Mom, what do you need? What do you want? Nothing. Mom, what is it that you need? So tell them.
Yeah.
And if you are so disconnected because you've been in people-pleasing mode for so long and you're stuck for an answer, have one in your pocket. The one I have in my pocket is, oh yeah, you could rub my feet. So pick something.
Okay, hey. Oh, and by the way, Tanya Lynette wanted to know who we are. She says she knows Keisha, but I'm Lynnis Woods Mullins. And Dravon James, Dr. Dravon James. When I say
Dr. Dravon James.
The fabulous three of Living Well Women. And ladies, we got to wrap it up.
Yeah, we do. It has been so much fun. This is an awesome topic.
Awesome topic. And as I mentioned when we did the intro today, we have a sponsor, and that is suddenlyfree.life. And if you find yourself alone and you're looking for confidence in being alone because you're feeling lonely, suddenlyfree.life has a complete program for you. Check them out. The website is up there. The program is phenomenal. I know because I have personally reviewed it. It's an awesome program. I highly recommend it. And we are Living Well Women. We're so delighted to be here with you today. We wish you all happy holidays and
yes, happy holidays. I know we'll see you again next Thursday. Are we going to see them next Thursday, ladies?
I was just in my mind thinking about Thursday. Yes, so next Thursday. And please, if you would love to support us and go over to our YouTube page and follow us on YouTube. Subscribe.
Please follow us on YouTube. We've been begging people to subscribe so that we can become a real legitimate channel. So go to Living Well Women on YouTube, subscribe, and that way if you miss our live show, you will not miss the replays, usually up within 24 hours. And if you have a business or a service that you want to start promoting, you can do it with us. It's very affordable. We'll treat you good. And as you can see with the one that we have right now, suddenlyfree.life, whoever listens to this replay, either on Facebook Live or on all the other social media, they'll be seeing that particular link, your business, on there. Between the three of us, I know we have probably 500,000 followers because I have 250,000 on my own. So I know we have close to 500,000 followers.
Look at you. I have 15K, and I was like, yeah.
Well, yeah, but 10 years. Okay, you've only been doing it for a few months. 10 years, I should have some. I gotta have something to show for it, so I got some followers.
So much to show for it. My God, you are all magic.
I would just say this too, ladies. If you are looking for a tribe of women to partner with you in this leg of your journey, so that you stay happy, healthy, and relevant, please consider joining us every Thursday and bring a friend or two with you.
Yes, and thank you, Bonnie, because you shared, and so many of your friends list has joined us.
Yes.
So much.
Yes. Thank you so much. And again, somebody's asking for a clarification of the name. It's Living Well Woman. Living Well Woman. Living Well Woman, right? Right?
Yeah, Living Well
Women. Yes. I'll put up the link.
Okay, great. She'll put up the bit.ly link. Please subscribe. Join us next week on Thursday. We're going to be having some kind of titillating topic. We didn't decide on the topic, ladies. Should we decide right now?
And you guys can submit topic ideas too. You can submit topic ideas, stuff you want to talk about.
Absolutely. Well, this will be our last show of 2018, so to speak. So I'm thinking that.
No, next week Thursday is our last of 2018.
Yeah, next week, right? Right. Okay, so I think.
Sorry, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I think we should be talking about. I don't do resolutions, but can we talk about setting intentions?
Talk about intentions for 2019. Not a resolution.
What's the difference?
What do you want to create?
What do you want to create? And what's the difference between intentions, goals, objectives, and resolutions? Let's talk about that next week.
Oh, yeah. We'll talk about that next week. Yeah.
Tell me.
We love you. Happy holidays. We'll see you next week.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ebony, and Tanya, and everybody else that joined us. We're so grateful. And hi, Dillis.
Bye.
See you next week, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Living Well Women. Join us next time when we will discuss other topics of holistic living. Nothing is off limits when it comes to sisters supporting sisters. Please subscribe to our YouTube page by clicking the link below so you can stay updated on all the details when it comes to being a holistic living well sister.